Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2020. It's Career Mode episode 111. If you saw the last episode, you already know the rundown for this one. I recorded this back-to-back with that other episode, and I lost all audio. I did recover the footage, though, and so through post-edit, I'm now adding in a voiceover, which is a little different from what I'm used to doing, but it seems to be working out all right. So this time we're at Milano San Remo. We're just here for the race. I don't think it's on my objective list. We begin at the large climb. Main thing about this one is it is crazy, crazy long. So team that I brought here, Denny Ginn, Moreno, Rekovic, Gazzoli, Moreau, Eric Butt, David Killen. Brought my punchier guys to try to go for the punchy victory on this one, but with the length, doesn't necessarily suit us too well right now. Also, didn't even bring Kevin Vermark to this race, so a little bit of a mixed group, but certainly not a bad group. At the moment, though, I'm just flying through the flat section. We'll slow it back down here in just a moment. Now, 53K to go. Killen's going to get us water the final time. There is a small group out the back. The breakaway group is all split up at this point, so we're starting to catch them in ones and twos, and the time is nearly up even to the front rider. So there's the water. We've got a little bit of undulation through this period, and then two bigger climbs. The biggest climb of the pair, though, is the first one. So the final climb, not bad. Short, steep, but not bad. And then it's a pretty short distance to the finish, but it is not a hilltop finish. It's back down into the city. So 35K to go. We're setting ourselves up. We're nearly to the first of the two climbs. Right now, the guys I'm riding for today, the sprinters and the punchers, hoping to get them over the top of this one. So Rekovic, Gazzoli, Eric Butt, protect them with the climbers. So the big thing is to try to get through this climb in one piece. New breakaway being formed as Garcia Cortina is attacking now, so he's going off trying to pull the surprise victory, but with 26K to go. It's an awfully long distance away from the finish for that sort of thing, and he's already been reeled in. But you can see big accelerations. Meanwhile, I'm trying to just hang on. I'm going 85. I don't want to get dropped here. Don't want to go too far back, but we are definitely trying to conserve some energy. And we're going to get over the top of this one with the Peloton intact. All of my riders fairly well. We'll get a little bit of recovery here, but definitely not complete. But the main guys, Rekovic, Gazzoli, Ginn, Eric Butt, pretty good shape right now. We've still got 17K to go, but we're a little spread out, and we've got to set ourselves up. So now that we're over the top, we're going to line things up and see if we can make something happen on that final climb. So sprint train coming, David Killen to the front, Moreau, Eric Butt to make the punchiness, Moreno for the downhill, Ginn, Rekovic, Gazzoli to try to go for the win. So Killen brings it forward. He's on a 94. Get Moreau ready. 13K to go now. We still have a little bit of distance to cover on the flat, but we need to get out front. And Sunweb is making that rather difficult on us. Killen nearly out of energy. 11K to go. Moreau takes over. Hit the tunnel. Climb's going to start just after the tunnel. Moreau is just barely at the front, and not even quite. Sunweb's still pushing tempo, and Mitchelton Scott. 9.5K to go, and here we are. 3.8 kilometers. 4%. It's not steep. Sprinters should be able to handle this. Moreau nearly done with his work. On to Eric Butt. He's going to go 99. This is going to potentially do a little damage, but we could split the field, and we start to. 70 left in the peloton. Eric Butt still going, even though he's out of red bar. Now 69. Killen's been dropped. Moreau's going backwards, but hanging on. Setting us up for that sprint. I want the sprint. So it's not about dropping everybody. So now Moreno takes over after a couple riders catch up, and as we hit the top, 6K to go, 5K to go. Mostly a descent. We've got our four guys. Moreno actually has a little advantage. He's opening up a gap. Ginn right on his wheel, opening a gap. They're trying to close it down. The other riders are still there, but I'm trying to attack early on this descent and try to open up a little bit of a gap. You can see there's Rekovic and Gazzoli still in position. Eric Butt's there as well. And he actually does have a little bit of energy left, so we'll just tag him onto the back. Moreau's not too far off. We'll slow him up because he's almost out of energy. He might get a decent finish. Moreno looks like he could win this thing with 3K to go. Downhill, but it's 2.4 to the finish on the flat in a very wide road. That's hard for somebody like Moreno or Denny Gidd to hang on to. So here comes Rekovic, and we get squeezed into the wall by Decathlon. Block us off. Rekovic loses a bike length and a half to finally get around him. With 1.1K, he is set to sprint. We got 3 riders on the far right-hand side of the road who now have a huge advantage. Not only did Rekovic lose a bike length and a half, he lost that to Denny Gidd, not to the sprinters. You can see now 3 guys flying. One of them went way too early, like Moreno who's faded. Rekovic with the lead out. Gazzoli coming through with the final sprint, and only one rider still had enough to keep pushing to the end. That's Caleb Ewan. He will claim the victory. The others, Chumias, Gaviria, they went too early. They faded at the end. Gazzoli was still going strong. Times it right because we used all of the red bar. He ran out just at the finish. So we did time that right. But that little checkup by Decathlon pushing us into the wall like that really hurt. One thing we're going to have to really keep an eye on now towards the end of March here is our finances. By the way, that was second place. Milano San Remo, we just got 20,000 for that. Treno Adriatico with the podium, 23,000. But we are at an exact wash. Our monthly investment, 107. Our salary for riders, 107,000. There is zero money left over for staff, but I'm still spending 51,700 a month on staff. So I desperately need monthly to bring in roughly $50,000 so we do not go bankrupt. But if you look down that list over the last couple of months, we are doing that. We are right about 50,000 per month starting in February. Hopefully we can hang on. All right, next race. This is the Bink Bank Tour. This one is an objective for us. It's a hard objective for us. Top 5, top 10, something like that. There's a decent amount of cobbles in here. There's a decent amount of undulation in here. And remember, I only have 2 riders with any sort of classics ability, and that's only a cobble rating and nothing more. They're both here. That's Jorgensen. That's Telford. Jorgensen does have a +3, but we have to hope that the pace isn't too bad and that there's a chance for a bunch sprint, because those 2 alone won't do terribly well. There's other races, like say a Paris-Roubaix, that we would have to rely on them and just try that, hope that they could survive and be in a small group. Ultimately, though, we need our moderate sprinters, the ones who have a little bit of a cobble rating, like Hinkis, like Alves Machado. Rekovic isn't too bad either in that department. If one of those 3 can survive, can hang on, and get through the cobbled sections and still be in the front group, then we have a chance to win, because we'll have sprinters there at the end. It's a big if, it's a big challenge, but we're not going to do anything otherwise, and so we protect them. So we're going to use our cobble guys to protect the non-cobble guys and hope they can hang on. But you can see just how quickly we drop back. We've got a 13-man breakaway. Their gap is down to a minute, but this road is very skinny. There's lots of undulation and then a lot of short, quick cobbled sections. This one, 3 stars, 800 meters. The bigger problem, though, is it's uphill. So I've really got to watch my riders and manage that we don't get caught out, especially on the flanks. Along those flanks, one rider slows down and everybody behind them gets caught in that train and loses 10, 15, 20 wheels. You can see we're pushing 82 right now. Can't afford to spend too much energy, but that knocked us back 8, 10 wheels. We're just not quite good enough at this discipline. But if we can survive, there is enough time from the last cobbled section to the finish that we can recover and absolutely go strong. The big thing is not getting dropped. This is the easier section though, 2 stars. We had recovered to the front. You can see how Rekovic got caught behind the Lotto Soudal rider who was going backwards, and he went backwards quick. Gazzoli going backwards there, trying to help him. That was more on his just pure pace. He wasn't quick enough. Now we're pushing 83 because the pace is picking up a little bit. Final 60K. 64 riders left in the peloton, but there's a ton of yo-yoing with that right now. Still, the 13 riders away. One of them has been dropped. 3 stars for the next one. 1 kilometer roughly uphill again for almost all of that. 7.6%, pretty steep. Also, Rekovic, Gazzoli, Jorgensen still have not recovered to the front of the field. They did not recover between the last section and this section, and they're still in the middle of a now 100-man peloton. Telford going backwards a little bit, really trying to help Gazzoli and Rekovic beat the odds here and not lose a gap. Gazzoli is way too far back, and at the moment, he misses the split. And at the moment, everyone but Elvis Machado and Amana Toglu have missed the split. Oddly, Telford was protecting Alves Machado and somehow ended up 20, 30 wheels behind him. Clearly, Telford got caught behind somebody. I haven't had a chance to take care of that yet. I'm noticing it now. But up his effort, kind of figure out, okay, well, there's the group. There's Amana Toglu and Alves Machado right there. 25 left in that group, 40 in the chase, and my entire team is in that chase group with those 2 exceptions. Monotoglu now set to protect Alves Machado, the higher cobble rating guy. 3-star section, 700 meters, and it still hasn't come back together. In fact, this group has split. It's 34 chasing 25. Now I'm looking at how much we have left, how many cobble sections, how much undulation, and we need to go forward right now on this section. We cannot afford to go backward. So I set everybody up in effort a bit and sent them to go forward. You can see Jorgensen, Rekovic getting caught up, going backwards. Wykankis fading. He's out of energy. He's on a -3. That makes sense to me. Again, the field splits. Right there, it was back together, but it splits, and then it splits again, and we're right back to a group of about 23 at the front, almost the same size it had, and a chase group almost the same size, 36. Wykankis gone, he's behind us, but everybody else is here. Now it's important to bring this back together before we get into these final cobbled sections. So I'm going to get a couple guys on the front. Wykankis, we're just going to set to auto and say goodbye to him for the day. Back to the front. So Telford working, bring it back, trying to bring it up. You can see this group nearly in contact with the peloton. There's only a couple bike lengths between us. I'm changing my mind. I'm going to try to protect Telford now as a strong cobble guy and use Gazzoli to do that. There are a couple teams committing to the chase, and we are making contact, or so it seemed. The gap just opened it again. 36 still chasing 23. Now it's together, and we got to try to come forward. Very steep 3-star section. Even Wykankis is back in contact at the moment. Rekovic getting caught out, so we're trying to move him over. Alves Machado caught out. We're going to try to move him over. Really slow couple riders in front of us, NTT especially, and they just opened a huge gap, and the field just split massively at the top of that thing. Now all of a sudden, Alves Machado goes from the front to way behind in a very, very short chunk of time. Comes back together a little bit. You can see Gazzoli with Telford is our front guys now, and they're in group A3. So we just lost a ton in a very short period of time. So desperate measures. Alves Machado needs to go forward, but we're going to protect him with Jorgensen. Monotoglu needs to protect Rekovic, who's going to go forward. Another climb. Another big one. 4 stars, 1.8K, 2.2 on the climb. So this is the hardest part to the day. We have got to make up ground right now or it's over. Monotoglu, done. Going back. Set him to auto. And here's our group. They are virtually alone. A group of 9 with the entire rest of the team. We have 6 riders here of 9, but we're all the way back in group A7. Those 2 steep, cobbled sections have absolutely destroyed the field and destroyed us, and none of us have made the gap. Jorgensen's still in good shape. Alves Machado's in good shape. Nobody else is. So, Alves Machado, I'm going to get him to follow Jorgensen. Telford has just a little bit of energy, so I'm going to get him to lead this thing. Rekovic, Gazzoli are out of energy. I don't think they're going to last, but I'm going to tag them onto the very back of the group and hope that they can survive. Telford, we immediately catch up to the group in front of us. So now it's a group of 16. We're up to group A6 now, but we're still chasing. Telford at the front, doing the work. I'm going to up him to 99. He's not going to recover. I'm just going to have him do the max speed that he can. Our gap, 3.5 minutes. Already. Moments ago, we were in the Peloton. Moments ago. We cross 1 kilometer and we're 3.5 minutes behind. Telford holding the gap even though he's out of energy. We're at 3:45. We're mostly holding it. He's lost 15 seconds. This is the last hill. We need to survive the last hill. So we're going to go on to Jorgensen. Jorgensen needs to lead us over this hill, even if it means dropping our guys. You can see just how much ground we're making up here. We were out to 4 minutes. It's already back to 3.5. There goes Telford. We're going to set him to auto. He did his work. Gazzoli, Rekovic just hanging on here. Alves Machado feeling the pressure here of Jorgensen, the only climber around that we've got. He's not a climber. He's just better than these guys. Rekovic, Gazzoli, just hang on. We dropped most of those riders. We moved up a bunch of groups. Of course, in front of us, it shattered as well. So all of a sudden, we're back to being group A10. But we just left 20 riders behind us in the dust. So, good progress there. Jorgensen, a little bit of energy left. But we still have 20K to go. 20K, that's a long time to try to pull it back together. We passed some riders. We just caught up to another rider. You can see another small group in front of us that we're making ground on. Jorgensen working 83 rate, but he's almost out of energy. And then all I have left is Alves Machado. Rekovic, Gazzoli have been hanging on, but they have not recovered, so they're still here. It'd be nice if they could hang on. It's a group of 8 now. A small group behind us has regained contact. Group of 14. We've almost caught these 2 ahead of us. That's group A4 now. It's coming back together a little bit. So group A5, we're not that far away from the front group. But that gap that we started to peel back, it's right back to where it was. 3:24. 3.5 minutes behind. We are definitely not going to catch the front runners. We're definitely not going to win this thing, but can we link up with enough groups to give Alves Machado a chance in the sprint to beat out some riders? I don't think we're going to reach top 10. Now we're really starting to see it. Peloton had 17, 18 riders, and then there were 7 chasing. We're about between 25 and 30 right now in the order. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. We're going to have to catch higher groups. Somebody has split off and left the Peloton behind. They've gone clear. So that split up again, but it's only 1 or 2 riders. I'm not thinking about the win, but can we somehow get near the top 10? There's 2 groups in front of us, but that's 50 seconds between us and this other group. We've got a lot more riders. We've got a lot more firepower. Gazzoli recovered a little bit and is now chasing. Gap went out to 4 minutes. Again, we're not going to beat the front of the field, but can we catch this group in front to get us at least into the top 25? Maybe get just a partial failure instead of a max failure? That's what we're aiming for. So Gazzoli trying to lead it out. Jorgensen trying to recover a little bit. 5K to go. I mean, what are we going to do here? Who can lead out Alves Machado? Rekovic has recovered slightly, so that's what I'm trying to save him for, is to at least be a lead out. So we can totally beat this group and maybe catch and beat the group in front of us. So with 4K to go, it's time. So Rekovic, we're going to put him out in front. Jorgensen, I'm going to use what he's got left. So he's going forward. He's supposed to bring Rekovic with him. Rekovic does not take the gap. He does not follow. It just wasted. Ralph Van Aert has already won. Wayne Dool took second. Matthew Van Der Poel has taken third. Your two best classics guys in the top three on the podium. That makes perfect sense. It's already been a minute. So they opened up a healthy gap. But there's at least 15 riders in tow. It's more than that because now 20 have crossed the line and there's still 9 riders to go. So I don't know if we're going to make this top 25. Rekovic pushing 1K. He's doing his lead out thing. Alves Machado can definitely go. Can we catch those guys in front? No. No, we don't. They finished just ahead of us. We take 29th. Almost got into the top 25. Couldn't do it. The cobble sections were too much. So here we are moving on to the next race. Next classic, next objective, and it's Ghent-Wevelgem. Remember, we have a Belgian sponsor now this year, and this is what they care about. So we're into the punchier sections. There's only like a single cobbled section in this race. There are some gravel sections, but they're not classified as anything, so they don't actually impact the riders. So today, Wykankis, -2 for Mark, -4. They're not going to help, but plenty of pluses otherwise. Monotoglu, Alves Machado, Rekovic, all looking good. Gazzoli +3. I only brought a single cobble guy in Jorgensen just in case, but I knew that we weren't facing much when it came to cobbles. Today can end in a sprint. Here it is, the cobble section, 3 stars, 800 meter, on a hill again. And you see just how quickly it blows things up. For Mark went backwards really fast. His cobble rating, 63. His -4 today gave him a 61 cobble rating, and he absolutely got destroyed on that one cobble section. He's gone. I'm not sure we're going to come back. We ride with him. Things do link back together a bit. Actually, the pace had lifted a lot. There's still 60K to go. So the field decides, okay, here's those gravel sections. This should do damage. This should hurt a rider like Vermark. It doesn't. No impact. You can see Vermark stays put. No problem. There's fatigue in the field. It's been a hard race. 140 riders here. The 4 riders still have a minute and a half, but it's 40K, so we'll catch them. Here's the last bit of undulation. A few skinny roads, tight hills. See, Monotoglu and Vermark got caught out a little bit, went backwards. They are recovering. We're riding at an 85. We're doing okay for this one with 37K to go. Peloton split over one of those hills. It's 70 chasing the break, and there's the break right in front of us. 700 meters, steep, but very short, and we're over it. Peloton split. 21 riders, 34 riders as it yo-yos. Largely coming back together. Alves Machado and Wykankis miss the split. That's worrying, but it's all back together. 53 riders. We've got them. For Mark going back to get water for us the final time now that we're through all this stuff. So we'll set ourselves up for a clean run at the finish. One rider starting to form a new break, attacking. That's Yves Lampart going for the punchy finish. It's too far out and it's too flat. This is going to be a sprint finish. 20K to go. There's the punchers. Again, attacking, going for it. Actually, there's 10 riders clear now. Even though it's still 18K out, I know we've got to do something here and now. Otherwise, that gap is going to open too much. So, figure it out who to go for. We do have some options. Gazzoli's looking good. Monotoglu's looking good. Alves Machado is looking good. Rekovic looking good. So, this is the best we've seen of our sprinters in quite some time. Wykankis, not looking so good. We're going to set up Gazzoli at the back because he's actually looking quite strong. Alves Machado and Monotoglu to lead it out, and then Rekovic that far up the order. We're going to grab Jorgensen then. We'll put Wykankis still in there, and then Vermark with his -4 going first. But look at that. We've got a speed group, and only one of them with a negative. Everybody else has a +2 or +3. What can we do here? Breakaway has 6 riders now. Those are the punchers attacking. Here's the next group of punchers right in front of us. But we catch it in time that that group at least is not getting away. They're just wasting their energy. And that front group, for Mark, doing enough here that they shouldn't be much of a threat. We should be okay. 15K to go. It was a little early. We're only at a 92. They give up. They set up. We're back into it. Peloton, 106 riders, so it's not full strength. There's definitely some fatigue out there, but you can see other than Vermark, I've got full red bars on everybody and healthy yellow bars. And Vermark leads long enough at a 92 that he brings us all the way down to 10.2 kilometers to go to the finish. So really good ride from Vermark there to lead that for, what, 8K at a pretty hefty pace. Catches a breakaway group and establishes us at the front. Jorgensen goes a 93, so we're starting to up the tempo only slightly. We still have plenty of distance now, 7K to go, but we're in the prime position already. Can we hold it? Jorgensen out of energy, onto Wykankis, 6K exactly. We're still not going to go flat out. 96th as we continue to try to up that tempo a little bit more. Continue to do some damage behind and hopefully keep us in that prime spot for a final attack. Under 5K, we use everybody else's gel, and Wykankis continues, and now we can start to up the tempo at 4.3. 99s here on out with quick guys after Wykankis, all in good condition as well. 3K to go. On to Rekovic. Split the Peloton, 55 riders. We're too fast. 1.8K, and I've got 4 guys left, so why not sprint Rekovic? Coming up on 1K. This is that short burst each guy. Can we stay out front? Here comes a CCC rider attacking hard. Monotoglu does his thing. Alves Machado does his thing, and Gazzoli, only 1 rider ahead of him as we approach this finish. Still not fast enough. Chamias is. Groves is there. Pascal is there. But Gazzoli gets 5th. It's not bad at all. Of course, we did all the hard work, but we're just not the best sprint team. Not yet. That was a sponsor objective. The objective was a top 5, and Gazzoli got 5th. So we did it. We did exactly what we needed to do. That was a really good result, all things considered. With that, we've completed all but a single sponsor objective. The only downside is the Big Bang Classic, the one we just blew up on and finished 29th. That was one of our 5 major objectives for the year. It is the first one we've come across. But Milano San Remo, Gazzoli getting a top 3, triple plus. The registered riders, we didn't focus so heavily on who we put in because we've got a lot of popular riders. Now we're getting the right guys into some of those races. We brought for Mark to this one to help with that registered riders mark because we can't afford to lose more when we're already losing squad rating as well. Next up, Ronde van Vlaanderen, top 10, 3.5-star objective, just a week away. So we do have some big objectives still to come. That is all the time that I have for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.